So I wasn't even gonna make a video about this, but here we are. I just figured that with how much I'm struggling with this, someone else is probably gonna need a hand on this. I gotta do a wheel bearing on my dad's A4. First thing you want to do before you even jack up the car and everything is you want to break free the Allen head that holds the axle. That's this one right here, and it's a 17mm Allen head. So you got to break this free first, because there's nothing that you're going to be able to hold that's going to restrain enough torque that you're going to be able to break this loose. So you have to do this first. If you can't get the center cap out, then jack the car up, take the wheel off, pop the center cap out, put the wheel back on, put the car back down, then break it loose. And that's this socket right here, 17mm Allen head. Next, you want to take out the 21mm bolts, which are on the bottom and top here, and you have to disconnect this harness before you can get at the top bolt, because it just kind of sits in the way on this bracket, and you can't really get anything in there. And that would be these ones here. And you can see that one of them is shorter than the other. Great. So pop that off. Take the 21 mils out, and then just have something to prop up the caliper, so that way there's like no tension or anything on the brake line. And then that's fine. That's out of the way. Then you can take the T27 torque screw, the little set screw on the rotor, you can take that out and then pull the rotor off. But in my instance, the whole thing just falls off because it's so destroyed that there were no actual like ball bearings left. Like, this is how it came off. It was just chilling in there and it just fell off. So like the brake pads were the only thing that was holding the wheel on the car. But now I can drop this off at a shop. They can remove this and then get a new bearing pressed on, and then this will be ready to install. But I still have to get this off. To get these bolts out, which go in through the back, so it's going to be hard to see. There's one down here, one up here, another one over here, and then another one on the other side. And for these ones here, these are triple squares, and that's going to be an M12. So that's one of these guys right here. And you really have to make sure these are seated properly. So like hammer them in, move them around, make sure it's good. Because if they're not seated, these will strip extremely easily, and then you're pretty much screwed and you have to like drill these out, and you're gonna have an even bigger nightmare than I already have right here. To make this easier so that way you can just like freely move the knuckle around, you want to take the tie rod end off. And to do that, there's going to be this 13mm bolt, which goes in the top. And then there's going to be this 16mm nut. And then this end here, you obviously can't connect anything to it. So you just have to take a punch and just start hammering it out until it's, you know, free. Then you can just tap like right here on the end. That'll loosen this up, and then if needed, you know, give it some taps right here, but never actually hit the ball joint portion of it because that'll damage it. Once you have all of that done and you've resisted the urge to off yourself, you'll be at this point here. Right now, this portion has to come out, except it is so unbelievably seized in here. I started sitting there with a little chisel, didn't do anything, moved up to a bigger chisel, didn't do anything. Worked up to an air hammer, didn't do anything. Sitting there with a map torch until like things were lighting on fire. Still didn't do anything. At this point, where I'm at is I think I'm gonna have to take the entire knuckle off, get this over to the vise, and then start hammering it through with punches or the air hammer or something, because like there's just not enough room through the back to get a punch in here with enough leverage, the 8-pound sledge, to actually like do any sort of productive work. I'm gonna have to take this pinch bolt out. These are notorious for breaking, so I can't wait for something to go south there. And then there's the 2 control arms on the bottom that's also gonna have to be disconnected. And then just like the rest of the sensors and everything. And the biggest issue is gonna be the speed sensor, like the ABS wheel speed sensor, because that goes in and they always seize, and then you have to drill them out. So like I'm not excited about this at all. And yeah. I don't know. Let's just get the tie rod just kind of sneaking back in there. And let's try and break this free. So let's get penetrating fluid on everything. I can try and break this free, I guess. This is also going to be a 16. And, like, it just sucks because like this is in the way. So like you can't even get a socket on it. So I just get to sit here like an asshole and try and get this nut free. And then I'm going to have to loosen up these bottom ones down here. Relieve all of the tension that's on this, and then I should, in theory, be able to get the air hammer with like a straight punch and hopefully get this free all the way through. they are known for breaking. I'm gonna try and do this first, so if it does break, I can order a new one when I'm getting the bearing done. Oh man, this does not look good. So my plan is to take the nut off completely and then put it back on a little bit. So that way it'll kind of make like a bowl. So the bolt will come out and the nut will sit with kind of like a recessed area, and that'll allow the air hammer to not fly around. At least, you know, in theory. But I want to take it off completely to make sure all the threads are cleaned up. So if it does break free, as long as it's finger tight, I'll be able to just like grab the end with like pliers or something. So let's see if I can even get in here with this. Let's toss these things on because there's going to be rust everywhere. And I'd prefer to be able to hear when I'm done. Now let's just try and get in here. No bueno. Looks like I'm gonna be sitting here for a bit. I'm gonna let the camera charge while I just sit here like an idiot. The torch, hopefully it works. I'll use the impact with the 16 just to try and like free up the bolt, because the bolt itself is just being held in by corrosion, just because it's a steel bolt in an aluminum knuckle. So if I can work that back and forth, I might be able to break it free and then use the air hammer on the other side to push it all the way out while using the impact on the other side. I don't know, that's kind of like my thought process there. So I just got to heat this up like ridiculously hot, and I'm just going to be at this for a while. So I'll let the camera charge while I'm figuring all this out. Then as soon as it, you know, comes free or breaks, whatever happens, I'll come back. Oh, that's stuck. Good. It does have resistance, so I'm kind of hoping that the corrosion is so bad that it's kind of creating its own threads. I'm trying to like get this on, but then I'm like locking it in place by adding tension this way. So as I'm loosening it, I'm also pulling toward the front of the vehicle. It's trying to free up. I don't know, is it getting... Ha! It's hot. Ow. Oh, let's try and get this out of there. What do we got in here? It's a really small one. See if I can get that in there. Ah, I can. So let's see if this will do anything. Ow. Ow. Starting to wiggle. There it is. Again, one of the best Amazon basic purchases has saved the day. Now I can take the tie rod back off. Actually, I should probably leave that for now while I crack these loose. Now these are going to be an 18. Get this thing out of the way. Now, of course. Why would I be able to get in there with that? That would just make it way too easy. Instead, I get to sit here with my 16th of a turn. Now, let's break this one loose. And I'm going to have to jack the other side of the car up when I'm putting this back in, because this is still under load from the sway bar. Now I can pop this 13 out again. Oh, wow, it's working. That never happens. 2 for 2. All right, I'll take it. Okay. That one was getting sketchy. Oh, there's always one troublemaker in the group. Oh, that was so close. You could see the socket was just starting to turn, like it was almost gonna strip. That's seen better days. Oh my god. All the metal pieces from the bearing. This is such a big job. I have these free. Maybe they'll come out. Give it back. There we go. This means I can get the axle out of the way. Oh my lord. That's seen better days too. I actually have room to the back of this now. Maybe I can actually get it out without using the vise. Oh my god. This is so dicked. Okay. Well, I wonder if I could like put this back in. That'll kind of keep this rigid. That might work. Let's see. Take one of these old bolts, and it's pushing on the threads, right? Okay, that's safe. Again, I'm gonna let that do its thing, and I'll let this camera charge for a bit. Oh my god, this sucks. It's starting to move. The other control arm out. Got it all the way over, and I've just been swinging at it with the 8-pound. Slowly moving. So, just more swinging. Oh, I think that was it. Let's get this guy here. Yeah, okay. Let's take these out. Oh boy. Okay, there we go. There we are. Let's just knock it out the rest of the way here. You know, there's supposed to be a lot more in there. I mean, on the plus side, now that it's all taken apart, it's going to be really easy to torque those new bolts back in. So that's kind of cool. But now I can go drop this off at Volkswagen, get a new bearing pressed on. I'll just start cleaning all this up here. Jesus Christ. Just gotta file all this out, clean it up, and just install the new bearing. Oh my god, this fucking sucks. Okay, I cleaned the knuckle up, removed as much corrosion as I could, and I don't have silver anti-seize, so I'm just not going to use any because copper and aluminum will cause galvanic corrosion with each other, and they actually promote corrosion rather than like reducing it. So no anti-seize is going to be better than copper anti-seize. And I don't have any silver left, so that's just how I'm sending it. I just got the hub back from Volkswagen, pressed into a new bearing. It was $198. And now I just get to assemble it back together. So now getting the M12 triple squares that go into the back of the bearing to hold it on, those are going to be really easy to torque. So we can start with those ones. We have the bearing itself, and we have new bolts because those ones are completely destroyed. Also, for some reason, these replacement ones are silver. The factory ones are green. And green on Volkswagens means torque to yield. So you can only use those once. If you try and torque them again back to the factory spec, it's almost guaranteed that they're going to break. So, change the bolts. Get these ready to go. Get this bearing in, and because the corrosion was so heavy, grinding most of it down, it's probably going to actually fit back in place. Like, normally you have to kind of use the bolts to press it back into the hub, but I had to file down so much corrosion that, like, it's almost sitting completely flat. So it's not the greatest, but it's fine, it's fine. So we can grab this M12 triple square, move this thing right out of the way so we have easy access to the back, and we'll just lightly tighten these up. So now I grab this guy, we're gonna go to 80 Newton meters, or 59 foot-pounds. Now, because the bearing is being pressed in place, we want to do them in a cross pattern, just to make sure that the entire thing is seated first, and it's actually going in straight. We want to do a 90-degree turn. So we're going to go from up here, and we're just going to bring it down 90 degrees. And then I'm going to get this one back on, since it didn't actually come off, like it stayed in place. So we can just finish these up. My God, it's so hard to get like 90 degrees while it's moving. Anyway, that's done. But let's do this one now. So that's going to be one of these 18 mil nuts, and that's going to go on, and we're going to tighten that one. And then I'll torque it in place, and then get the axle in, and then this one here. That'll be the easiest to get them all in line. Alright, I gotta try and get in here somehow. And this one is 110 Newton meters. Oh my god. Oh my lord. How am I supposed to hold this? I didn't think this far ahead. Oh god, there we go. Oh, Jesus Christ. That sucked. Okay, that one's done. Now I can just clean the axle up. We're not going to look at the wear. Now we just want to kind of manhandle this into here. Come on, get in the thing. There we go. Ah, that's in place. So that's neat. Now I just got to kind of figure out how to get the... Oh my god. Oh, right. I have to jack up the right side of the car because the sway bar is pushing this side. God damn it. Jack up this side. I should be able to get this in the thing. In the thing. How am I gonna do this? Ow. Okay. It bit me, but I got it. Now, this nut can go on. And this one is exactly the same as the other one. 110 Newton meters or 81 foot-pounds. Let's just snug this up. Now we can torque it. There we are. Now I just gotta put this pinch bolt back in. And I don't know where the nut went. Okay, well, I'm gonna kind of like quickly clean up. Get rid of like old bolts and crap. Because I need to find that nut, and it couldn't have gone far. Get rid of the tools that I don't need anymore. Come back once I find the nut, and then, you know, hopefully we can continue on. I literally have no idea where the hell it went. Like, I just cleaned up everything, organized it all, put all the tools away that I didn't need. I looked through all the cases of the tools before I put them away and, like, moved a whole bunch of shit. I checked, like, on the other side of the car, all under it. Like, it's literally fucking gone. Like, where the fuck did that go? Because, it's literally gone. I can't even right now. Anyway, the fun continues. Oh my god, I'm gonna fucking kill myself. I found it. Yep. Okay, well, I guess we don't need the nut that I made after all of that effort. Yes, go live your life. Now, how the hell am I gonna get this up on there and get both of these in at the same time? Oh wait, I have an idea. I can start this, get the first one in, and then I can start pushing this through to lock it in place. Now I can do this one. Oh my god, get in there. Come on, get in the thing. Come on, you can do it. There you go. Oh yeah, it's light. The light. There we go. You can see a little bit better. Well, I mean, hopefully you can. I'm just so unmotivated right now. Like, finding that nut was cool because I can put, like, the factory one back on, but also, like, finding that nut basically just killed all motivation because I just wasted so much time making that other one, and this is, like, it's just, I don't know, it's getting in my head. Okay, I took a little break for about an hour. I ended up taking this off and I added a washer here because this actually isn't the factory bolt. Someone had already changed this at one point, and you can see that it's kind of digging in, like, it almost looks like it's cracked across the top just because the metal is so deformed. So I figure putting a washer on that is gonna, like, help try and save it a little bit. And then the nut here, because I was using the air hammer on it, it kind of, like, bulged out the edges or whatever. So I filed that back down. So now we're in business. Everything is good. So now this can go back through. The nut can go on. And everything is good. Now this is going to be 40 Newton meters or 30 foot-pounds. So we can just snug this up, and then we can use the torque wrench. And now this guy right in, ow, right in here. Oh my god. Okay, how am I gonna do this? Ow, fucker. My god. Nothing is easy. Now we can take the 13, and that just goes right in the top. And this one here is 7 Newton meters, which is like 5 foot-pounds. So, you know, just snug it up. Now, this one here, the flat spot goes toward the knuckle. Make sure that locks in place. Get the nut on there. And this one ends up being 45 Newton meters or 33 foot-pounds. And it's a 16. And we don't need a wrench or anything on the back. It's keyed, so it can only go in one way. Let's just clean up the hub a little bit. Make sure there's not like tons of corrosion or anything on here. Okay, that's pretty good. Now let's get this thing back on. Right in here. These ones are the T30s, or at least they're trying to be. And they are 10 Newton meters or like 7 foot-pounds. So, you know, just snug them up. Of course, this is damaged. God damn it. From when I was swinging the sledgehammer like an idiot. So that's not inconvenient at all. An M6 by 1.0 tap. Let's get this in here and fix these threads. And there we go. Works perfect now. Idiot. So let's start putting this in. And again, I don't have silver anti-seize, and this is going into aluminum, so I'm not going to be using the copper stuff. Now we can do the anti-seize. That'll go all over the hub, just so the brake rotor doesn't seize on here. Now let's just make sure that axle's in all the way. There we are. Now I'm just going to get a little bit of anti-seize on it, and mostly around the base here, because that's where it's going to end up seizing. And yes, this will change it to a wet torque spec. I get it. But this is Canada. Sometimes you gotta do these things. I gotta grab this brake rotor. Oh my god. Ah, Jesus. Okay. Well, it ain't getting any better, I guess. Let's make sure we line that hole up. so we can put the set screw in. That one there is the T27. So let's just snug that up. And like the torque spec on this one, like you're just snugging it up. Basically finger tight, because like the wheel is gonna hold it on and everything anyway, so it's not gonna fall out or whatever. Plus the lug nuts and everything actually hold it on, so even if you don't have it, it's not the end of the world. Oh my god. Well, hopefully a few stops will actually clean this up, because like, Jesus. At least there's no like crazy grooves in it, so the rotor's still fine, but like, my god, that sucks. Now we can prep these ones here. Get some anti-seize on these bad boys, because these have a high torque spec. These are going to be 190 Newton meters, or 140 foot-pounds. Let's get them back in place. Is that working? Oh, beautiful. Where's the bottom one? There it is. Oh, perfect. I didn't want to move this ratchet anyway. Like, I can't get in here with anything to try and make this work. So I'm just going to lay on top of all this crap. I'm going to try and get this in here. It's literally going one tick at a time. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God, yeah. One. Ah, where the hell's the second one? Come on. Just get on the goddamn thing. I don't want to do this anymore. So that's done. Like, I don't know. I don't have words. Like, there's still so much this car needs. Like, I gotta look at the turbo. That might have to get replaced because there's oil consumption somewhere. The wipers are stuck halfway up the window, so I gotta take the motor out, take all that apart. One of the mufflers is sitting in the back seat, so I have to take that off, as well as the rest of the exhaust, so I can weld that back on. That's just like endless rust. Like, it's like the craziest thing, because the body is in like immaculate condition. It's only the front fenders and the hatch. Like, I don't get it. Like, if you like really look for it, like there's a little bit starting right around the trim, but like on this side, doors and everything, perfect all the way down. It's only rusting around the fender. And this actually isn't even that bad. Like, this could just be sanded down and resprayed. So on the bodywork side, it needs a whole new hatch and it needs a whole new fender. And then just respray that fender, this one, fix the corrosion on the front door, and then this whole disaster here. This is like rust converter that I just kind of put on there with a brush just to try and like soak into the rust and at least slow it down so it's not a giant friggin' hole. Then I scooped up some tips off of a B6 A4 just because when we got the car it was always missing one of them, and like the shape of them is just slightly different. So if I'm welding one of those onto the muffler when I put it back on, they're going to have different tips and it's going to be noticeable. So I'm just going to do both of them. But like all in all, this car's friggin' awesome. Like a $2,000 car. It's a 6-speed manual, 2-liter turbo. Like, it's a deadly little machine. It's just like, I have to deal with it all the time and I'm just over it. Yeah, that's how you change a wheel bearing. I am beyond ready for bed, but I gotta shower first. Clearly, you can have a real bad time with it and still get it done with common hand tools. Like, I didn't use anything crazy, like sledgehammers, off-the-shelf torches, and still got it done. So even if you're getting fisted by the machine here, you can still pull it off. So, you know, like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, or don't do any of it. I'm not telling you what to do.